Everybody, hey, it's Lee Godbold, Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. Today, we're talking about Google Ads. Should you do Google Ads? What to expect out of Google Ads for your junk removal company in 2024. If you guys are looking for Google Ads management, great looking websites that convert well, search engine optimization to help your sites rank well organically, or if you are looking to get in business, you're considering a franchise, but you want to see what JRA has to offer in terms of a franchise alternative, same great consulting, support, setup with less money and less commitment for that franchise alternative, then you guys just head on over to JRA.com to find out what we can do to help you grow, grow, and scale your junk removal company. All right, junk removal ads in 2024. Here's everything I'm going to tell you about Google Ads right from the start. Quick to get jobs. It's almost like the quickest way out there to actually get jobs, because you've got people that want to hire your service. They're going online, they're searching, and just by doing Google Ads, no matter if you're brand new in business or not, you've got the potential for your ads to be among the top search results. People click on it, and hopefully they're going to contact you. So it's a quick way to get leads anyway, jobs/leads. However, profits can be limited, especially at first. So when you first launch a Google Ads campaign, it tends to be relatively expensive, and there's a few reasons for that. One, you've just got to get it calibrated. You got to calibrate it. Google has to learn you. You've got click fraud. So those are a lot of the reasons why. And I always say calibrate, like you're going to start with a basis. If you're using a company that's done junk removal in the past, they should start out with a good set of keywords, a good set of negative keywords. Keywords are things you want to show for. Negative keywords are things you do not want to show for. They should have a good ad copy that's got some experience and some history of working that's inputted in there. They should be targeting your service area. So there's a lot of things that should be set up right from the beginning, but as soon as you start getting traffic into your page, a good ads management company is going to be looking at what's coming through. They're going to be adding additional keywords. They're going to be excluding more search terms and keywords, and they're going to be organizing everything properly within the account. So the better things are organized, the better statistics you get. The better statistics you get, Google actually rewards you with a higher quality score, meaning they're going to essentially charge you less for the same ad positioning. All of this occurs over time, and this is something you're going to work out on forever in your Google Ads account, but it's extremely critical in the first 3 to 6 months. So that's calibration. Let's talk about click fraud. Click fraud is your competitors going on and clicking on your ads to drive up your cost. It's very, very prevalent when you first launch a Google Ads campaign. What they're trying to do is scare you off. They see you're brand new. They're doing Google Ads. It works for them. They got a lot of business coming in. They want to crush you. They want to scare you. They want to get you off of the search engine results page as fast as they can. So what they do is they get their mother, they get their brother, they get their sister, they get their aunt, they get their cousin, they get their niece, they get their nephew, they get anybody they possibly can to go on and click, and drive up your cost. So what you have to do is you got to do click fraud software. We recommend ClickCease. If you use Junk Removal Authority to manage your Google Ads accounts, we're going to set up ClickCease for you. There are other click fraud prevention softwares out there. There are other companies that talk a big game on their click fraud prevention software. Maybe there's some stuff that's a little better than ClickCease, but overall, what you're doing is you're saying, all right, we see these same IP addresses come in. ClickCease comes in there and they knock them out of there. We normally set a threshold of 2 clicks in 30 days. If an IP address generates 2 clicks in 30 days, you're gone. Now, Google limits this to 500 records. So you can't ban more than 500 IP addresses, so there will always be some level of click fraud that occurs. However, the longer you survive, the longer you stay in it, competitors will begin to give up. Now, some pesky business owners, they might forever click, but it's normally just going to be them. They're not all the other people they've been trying to get. They're eventually just going to give up. So there will always be some level of click fraud simply because you're limited to the number of records, the number of IP addresses that you can actually ban. So once it gets to 500, it starts. The oldest one drops off. They add in the new one, and it's just kind of like on this rotation that continues on. So you got to have click cease. It's relatively inexpensive. So the last thing for us to talk about here, one of the last things here in terms of talking about why our profit's so limited initially is Google has to learn you. And I'm also going to add you need review/reputation. This is especially if you're a new company. So when we first launch a Google Ads campaign, we generally launch it under a manual cost per click. And what that means is we physically go in there and we say we're willing to spend up to X amount of dollars on this particular click. And we watch that, and if we're getting decent results in, we might lower the cost per click, or we might raise the cost per click if the results aren't as good, or possibly we want to raise the cost per click anyway to see if it brings in a better, more qualified searcher and potential client, potential customer for you. So we're watching all this data. Google's also watching this, and they're building up this kind of game plan on your particular company for your particular industry in your particular area as to who is the ideal searcher and who's the less than ideal searcher. And in the background, it's not using this data right now, but in the background, Google's learning and they're saying, okay, this person in this particular area, searching at this particular time, that's male, female, whatever, they're gathering all of this info on these individual searchers, and they're figuring out who is actually converting. And so they're getting this knowledge saying, all right, customer A is more likely to convert than customer B because of these different parameters. What happens is once we get to 30 conversions in 30 days, or close to it, so or maybe we've been running at least 90 days on the campaign. If we see 30 conversions in 30 days, or we've been running at least 90 days with a decent number of conversions, then we're going to switch it over to maximize conversions, target CPA. Max conversions with a target CPA. Now we are able to, as soon as we switch the bidding strategy, Google's got all this extra information, our cost per conversion numbers come down, the number of conversions go up, the campaign as a whole is doing better. So Google has to learn you. Minimum 30 days, it's normally going to be 60 to 90 before we're going to be able to switch it over to max conversions, target CPA. The campaign gets a lot better then. So reviews/reputation. You have to do a really good job on actually getting reviews into your business. The more reviews you have, the better you're going to convert on Google, because oftentimes people find you on Google Ads, then they search for your name, and they want to see, hey, do they have a lot of reviews? Are their reviews good? They're verifying this is a good company to work with. Then they actually contact you. So that's a lot of ways on how some of this stuff works and why it takes time. So I want to make sure people understand you have to have a good foundation in your business before you begin Google Ads as well. So let's talk about when are you actually ready to start Google Ads, or what are the things that you need to do prior to starting them. All right, here's the deal. Your website has got to be right. It's got to be tight. You cannot send Google Ads traffic to a piece of crap website. You will be throwing money out the window. Literally, just open your wallet up, walk outside, and just throw money out, because that's what you're going to do. Your traffic, your Google Ads traffic, must go to a website that looks good. Hopefully, it's got good-looking pictures. It covers the things people want to know. They want to know who you are. They want to know what you do. They want to know the area you service. They want to know, when I say what you do, is like what items do you take? Do you do residential? Do you do commercial? Do you do hot tub removal? Do you do demo? Will you do whole house cleanouts? Can you do hoarder house cleanouts? That needs to be available to them on that particular page. They need to know the area you service. So listing out the different cities is great. That way Google picks up on that when they're actually typing in their particular city. And also showing a map is excellent. They need to know how to get up with you. Ideally, they also want to know, this is extra, what hours you actually operate. So let's talk about this real quick. We'll throw this in here right fast. I don't want to go too much into this, but who you are, services / items you take, where you service, how and when can I get up with you? And you better have online booking, guys. Workiz, Workiz, Workiz. Get Workiz. I haven't seen anything better in terms of CRM and online booking system. There'll be a link in the description of this video for you to sign up for Workiz. Okay, the when. Let's talk about the when. I like posting hours in the header of your website because most junk removal companies will answer the phone outside of normal business hours. Hopefully you're answering them 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But at least you need to be answering them Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At minimum. Sundays, that can be your day that you take off, but if you're a brand new company, you better answer them 7 days a week because customers are going to call 7 days a week. If you don't list your hours, then a lot of times they're going to assume you're only open 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. So they're going to search for you. They're going to click on your ad. They're not going to call. And what's going to happen is the next day they're going to click on your ad again to actually call you, or they might go to another competitor. So if you list ads on there and they see that you call, they're more likely to execute it right then because a lot of times people are searching for the stuff outside of regular business hours. Website's got to be right. Next thing, pricing has to be right. If you are not averaging need to average about $450 per job in most areas of the country. Some areas of the country you need to be closer to $600. If you're not in the neighborhood of $450, I'd say $425 floor. I want to see you at $450. I'd love to see you at $500. You're not ready to do Google Ads. Google Ads is simply too expensive right now to have a AJS that is in the 3s, definitely in the 2s. You're going to get crushed if you're in the 2s. So you got to get that pricing set high enough that you can get an average job sale of $450. Now, I'm going to expand a little on that. The problem is you might look and you might say, I am not getting a $450 average job sale now, but you also might be appealing to the wrong customers. So just because you don't have an AJS of $450 now doesn't disqualify you from doing this, but you better quickly get an AJS of $450 from your Google Ads clients once you start Google Ads. Easiest thing to do, price shop your competitors, make sure you're priced competitively. And if that's done right, after you start ads, you should get up to a $450 job average. You gotta know how to answer the phone. You gotta know how to sell. Let's just put it like this, guys. You gotta know how to sell. When you jump into Google Ads, it's no longer amateur hour, guys. If you've been out there and it's just you, yourself, a pickup truck, and you've been making great money from putting Craigslist ads up or Facebook posts on buy-sell groups, which are great things to do, that's great. It's a little lower pressure. No money or very little money is actually going out. Like, you can be a little bit amateur. When you jump to Google Ads, you're going up against the big dogs. You're going up against the professionals in your industry that should know, and many of them do, know how to answer the phone and how to close jobs. You're going up against the got junks, the college hunks, the junk kings, the junk luggers, the other professional guys in your markets. If it's in North Carolina, the junk doctors, which is our junk removal company. You're going up against guys and companies that have teams of people that know how to schedule jobs. You don't have to have a team, but you better be answering that phone, and you need to know how to overcome objections, and you need to know how to sell. We're going to be putting out another video, and it should be in this description, on the updated 2024 phone selling scripts. That's the fire strategy that we use to close jobs on the phone. You need to click on that description on that video. You need to head over to that video. It's going to be on here, and it's going to be great. It's going to help you get better results for your junk removal company and your Google Ads campaign in 2024. If you don't watch it, you're going to be leaving money on the table. All right. So check this out. We got pricing has to be right. You need to know how to sell. This is both phone and on site. Once you get on site, your goal is to sell that job at full price. It's just because somebody sits there and says, hey, you quoted me at $500, I don't want to pay more than $350. You don't automatically come up and say, well, hey, I'll meet you in the middle at $425. You try and get that full price out. We have strategies to do that. I tell you what, we're putting out a video. It's going to be in the description on on-site selling. Check that one out too. Okay. So those are the things that you have to do. You got to be comfortable to do this. If you aren't, don't do Google Ads. You're going to be throwing money out the window. All right, so now that we covered that, I want to give people a little bit of talk a little bit about the fact that costs have gone up on Google Ads over the last several years, especially in 2023. Google Ads is an auction, partly an auction. How much you spend in your market is dependent on how much your competitors want to spend, competition there is, and also the quality of your campaign. So Google will actually assign a quality score on your keywords. The higher quality score that you have and on your campaign, the less money you have to spend for a particular ranking. So over time, things should get better. However, a large portion of it is how much are you willing to spend? What is the max cost per click or max target CPA or cost per conversion, cost per lead that you are willing to spend? And if you have competitors in your market that are willing to spend a lot more, you have to spend in that neighborhood to be able to get clicks, get leads, get results from your campaign. So if you're in California, a lot of areas in California, if you're in New York City, if you're in Atlanta, if you are in Boston, if you're in areas like that, you are going to spend more because there's more jobs to be had. Hopefully, you're able to also charge more. However, smaller markets that are out there oftentimes will have a lower cost per conversion and a better profit margin, but there's less volume potential. So understand much of it is dictated by competition. That means your cost per conversion, if you're looking at a chart on your cost per conversion, a lot of times you're going to see something like this. It's just it can be sort of all over the place over the course of a year. So this is January. And let's go November, December. Actually, November and December is normally kind of up by this point in December. So January normally will have come down some. So your January and February, and then you get to March, things can, a lot of times it'll be sort of flat, and then throughout the rest of the year it'll go all over the place. It's just going to depend how busy people are. Sometimes in the middle of the year cost goes down, sometimes they go up. The thing is it's a little unpredictable. It just depends on what the competitors in your market are trying to do. If you've got somebody that's really trying to get more jobs and expand, then they're going to be willing to spend more because they want more market share. If you've got competitors that are a bit more mature in your market, they're trying to maximize profits, well, everybody's going to do a little better off because costs are actually going to go down some. So this is something just to expect with Google Ads. It is a little unpredictable. Also, the junk removal business as a whole is cyclical. Not only on a yearly basis, but even on a daily basis. It can be feast or famine. Typically, Mondays and Saturdays, you're going to get the most jobs. Tuesdays is okay. Wednesday is normally pretty slow. Thursday is also normally a little on the slow side. Friday starts picking back up, and then Friday, Saturday, Monday are pretty good, and Tuesday. So that's normally kind of how this deal works out. So you're going to have certain days you get a bunch of calls, and certain days you get less. Something to definitely be prepared for, and again, the costs have gone up. So what to expect for a mature campaign, so a campaign that's run, I wouldn't even call this a mature campaign, for a campaign that's gone through the initial phase. So for a campaign that is at least 90 days old, so greater than or equal to 90 days old, aim for $30 to $60 per lead. Is a phone call, form submission, email, or online booking. Again, this is just a lead. This isn't per job. So we used to say you're going to be able to book 50% of your jobs. Some people still do. They're normally more established companies with more of a reputation that's getting some repeat business. Nowadays, about 40% is what we expect. So of the leads you get, on average, we expect about a 40% booking rate. Now, that does not mean if you look at it a daily or a weekly basis, you might be lower or above this. Even on a monthly basis, there might be months you're going to be below this or above this. But if you look over the course of a year, a lot of times we're seeing 40, 42, maybe 44%. So let's figure it at 40%. You still have to be pretty good on the phone to book 40% of Google Ads leads, by the way. The reason things have gone from 50 to 40, by the way, is consumers as a whole, they're more price sensitive now. With inflation having gone up, they're shopping a lot more. So it's just a little harder to close the deal than it has been in years past. So 40% booking rate. So what that means is your cost per job is actually going to be, cost per job with this 30 to 60 per lead range is going to be $75 to $150 to get a job on your schedule. So this is where that AGS becomes so important. If your average job sale, let's say your cost per lead is 50 and you're booking 40% and you have an AGS of $450, you're almost at a 4x return at that point on your ad spend. It's a little less than that, but you're almost at a 4x return. If you go to 500, you are at a 4x return. And when you start out with Google Ads campaigns, after 90 days, expect 3x to 6x return on ad spend. Nowadays, we used to say 4x to 6x, they're saying 3x to 6x now on return on ad spend. And that is for a campaign that's well managed. That's for a company that has a great website. That is for an individual or a company that knows how to, is answering the phone and knows how to handle it. And for a truck team that actually knows how to close a job on site. If you can do all those things, you can see a 3x to 6x return on ad spend. It means you're not getting rich directly off Google Ads. The key is, got to get reviews. So long term, this thing starts really picking up because of the 3 R's. That's reviews, referrals. Probably know I spelled that wrong. I added an extra F or something in there. Reviews, referrals, and repeat. So the more reviews you have, the more likely they are to actually book with you because you have a great reputation. The more people you get in front of, the more likely you are to get referrals. And the more people you get in front of, the more likely you are to get repeat business. So this is a great way to gain market share, and this thing just starts to snowball. It just builds and builds and builds and builds because you're getting in front of people and you're doing a great job. So that's why it's super, super important to do Google Ads, even though the short-term profits might not be fantastic. So let's talk about required budgets. This is not something that you're going to get into if you only want to spend $200 or $300 a month. If you can only spend $200 to $300 a month, or even $500 to $1,000 a month, go out and put them in on yard signs. Buy $500 worth of yard signs and go put those suckers out, and it's going to get your phone to ring, and it's going to do it. Whereas Google Ads at 500, it's too small of a bucket to work through the sales calls and the bad leads that come through. And it also is, your competition is just going to crush you. There's also a limit of click fraud and all like that. So 500, 1,000 is just too little. Nowadays, 2024, I think you need to spend at least $2,600 a month in most markets. Own your budget. That's not counting your management fee for your ads management company. This is a floor, and what this is, it's $100 a day, 6 days a week. I'd love to see you at $3,000 a month, showing $100 a day for 7 days a week. I think if you start with that, then you're getting in enough data for us to calibrate the campaign, Google to learn the campaign, us to to realize, for the click fraud people to realize it's not going to work, us to get enough search terms in to go through and get everything, like I said, just calibrated right. That is enough at that point to make this deal work. It is a floor though, so that's the minimum amount that you want to start with. And the reason for that is, guys, again, cost per lead is $30 to $60. So let's say it's $50. If you're at a $50 a day budget, the best you're going to do is average a conversion a day. The thing is, though, is a $50 a day budget is going to have a higher cost per conversion. So for the most part, up to a point, the more you spend, the lower cost per lead. And that's if, again, the management company and all is doing a good job. Google likes when people spend more money. It's a higher sample size. Small budget, you have a small sample size, and a higher budget with the larger sample size, you can just get a lot more done. When I look back at the companies that have left JRA over the years, almost all of them were people on $50 a day budgets to maybe $75, $80 a day budgets. For the customers and the clients of ours that have $100, $150, $200, $1,000 a day budget, knock on wood, they almost never leave. I cannot remember the last Google Ads company that left us that had a $250 a day plus budget. There's more that can be done there when you have a higher budget. So you start out on the floor, and then you want to raise your budget as high as you can. So raise budget incrementally. Once CPL is 30 to 60, so once it's stabilized. And in certain markets, maybe the CPL is a little bit higher, maybe a little lower in some smaller markets. And then you just jack that budget up as much as you can incrementally, and you make sure that your cost per lead stays where it needs to, where it's been. And the more you spend, the more business it brings in. The more business it brings in, the more of the reviews, repeat business, referrals you get. And again, this should be profitable for you too, so you should be actually turning up your profits too. So raising up that budget is big. Starting out with an acceptable budget, a minimum floor budget is really big too. Let's talk a little bit about what to expect from JRA, or if you go with JRA or an ads agency similar to JRA that's got some experience in the junk removal industry, what can you expect? So what to expect in the first 30 to 60 days. So first week or two, could spend your full budget with absolutely no jobs. Probably still going to get calls, but there's a good chance it's going to be bad calls. They're going to be other ads agencies wanting to manage your campaign. They're going to be you might get some price shoppers that might just not book. You have to have some time to calibrate, Google to learn you, and also the click fraud software to help happen, because a lot of this is going to be click fraud in that first week or two. So you might spend that full budget. So you might spend, if you're at $100 a day, 6 days a week. You might have spent $1,200, not gotten a single job. You got to prepare for it. If you guys can't handle that, don't do Google Ads. So, with the next week or two, next 2 to 4 weeks, hopefully at that point you're seeing cost per conversions. You know, I'm going to say this can be a wide range. It's a huge range here, $50 to $200. It's probably going to be not quite as low as 50. It's probably not going to be quite high as 200. But I want to let you understand what you might see during that first month. All right. After month 1, we hope to start seeing $50 to $100 cost per conversions. After month 2, that's when we're hoping we're going to start seeing the $30 to $60 cost per conversions. Now, this could be delayed a little bit on month. So I'm going to say after month 1/2 and after 2/3, that's what these numbers that you might actually see. So here's what that means. That means the first 30 to 90 days of a junk removal Google Ads campaign, you'll probably lose money. Probably will lose money during your first 30 to 60, lose money 30 to 90 days. I'm going to underline this right here. So what I want to see, another requirement before you actually do Google Ads, is you need have 2 to 3 months of ad spend available. That is after operating expenses. So after all of your operating expenses, you need 2 to 3 months saved up of ad spend available. That is, what is that, like 50, it's going to be like 5,200 to 7,800. I want to write this and I want to underline it because it's a decent number. $5,200 to $7,800 you need saved up in an account before you start Google Ads. It's available for Google Ads spending. And by the way, not that this is going to happen, but you need to be willing to go through a couple months with high spend with not a whole lot of results. You just got to be able to do that. You have to. It can't stress you out because this stuff takes time to get this stuff right. A lot of times it's going to launch within a few weeks. You got a campaign that's running pretty well, but you got to be prepared for the worst, which is, it could be 60, 90 days. This thing is, not doing that great, and then it starts picking up. In very rare cases, you're in an area that just sucks, and maybe you can't get it to work. But that's very, 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 very small, minuscule. I mean, I can count in all the years we've been doing this on one hand the areas that, if given enough time, we couldn't get to work. So that's another requirement there, $5,200 to $7,800. That's 2 to 3 months of Google ad spend that you need available to you before you start. Before you go to a Google Ads agency or a digital marketing company, you cannot be going to a digital marketing company and expect them to save your business. So if I look at other clients we've lost in the past, a lot of times it's people that have come to us and we're like a last ditch Hail Mary. It's 3 seconds left. You're down by 7 in the fourth quarter and you're on the 20-yard line. And you're like, I've been looking at JRA stuff for a long time. I got to do something to save my business. I'm down to my last dollar or last $2,000 or whatever, and I'm going to come to you and I want you to save it. If we've taken those people on, 99.9% of the time they've left. If you look at any of the bad reviews for JRA, or a lot of them, not all, but some of the bad reviews that have come through, or the people that have left, have been through people that we shouldn't have sold kind of in the first place. So It cannot be a Hail Mary effort. You do not want to go to any marketing agency out there and say, I need you to save my business. You just can't. You got to get your business in a good position and your finances in a good position that you go to a marketing company and you're able to give them a little bit of time to kind of make things and help things work. That's kind of what to expect with a Google Ads campaign for your junk removal company in 2024. I love Google Ads. We built a multi-million-dollar, $3 million plus, 17 truck plus operation, 3 locations, Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, in North Carolina, largely off of Google Ads. It was not the only thing we were doing, though. We still do yard signs to this day. We put out sticky notes on the back of mailboxes. We network with realtors, with professional organizers, with small home remodelers. We have trucks with amazing, big, beautiful graphics, huge graphics that we park on the side of the road when we can. If we go out to eat, our guys are instructed to park in a really prominent position so people see those ads. We send out text message and email campaigns to previous customers. We send thank you cards at the end of every single job. We do follow-up calls after every single job. We just make sure that we do an excellent job for the people we service, and we go off and we do minimum load pickups. Even in areas that are far enough out, we lose money, at least a little bit of money in that particular job, because a minimum load job today could be a large job tomorrow, or a review and a referral. All that stuff is very, very important. So where I'm going is Google Ads has been a huge part of our business, but there's a lot of other stuff that you as a business owner must do right to give Google Ads the opportunity to help your junk removal business grow and help you realize your dreams, your aspirations to build up a great company, whatever that might be in your particular situation. You yourself are the ones that is the person that's responsible for the success of your junk removal company. The economy plays into it, who's president maybe plays into it, who your marketing company is maybe plays into it. They might have a small part, but you can overcome it if you yourself take responsibility for what you do every day and the things you do within your junk removal business. And if you can control your stress level, you can think more logically. If you think more logically, you're going to make this thing work. Junk removal is not an easy business to make a bunch of money with, but a lot of people do it. It's an easy, busy business to start, but it's like any other business out there. You got to be smart. You got to be disciplined. And if you do those things there, you can make this thing work. Otherwise, it's just going to be a lot of frustration for you. So take responsibility for your company. If you're going to do Google Ads, follow the things that we just talked about throughout this video. And if we here at Junk Removal Authority can help you realize those goals, dreams, and aspirations to either start or grow your junk removal company, then head on over to JRA.com, reach out to us. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the alarm bell to get notified when we put out another great video, and make sure you check out the description for links to Workiz as well as other videos related to this topic that's going to help you blow up your junk removal company in 2024. I'm Lee Godbold, Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.